What up? This is your boy DJ EFN. You might know me as a drink champ, but first and foremost, I'm a proud father. I linked up with two of my other dad homies, Manny Digital and KGB, to start the Fatherhoods podcast. Each week, we bring you insider hip-hop stories, parenting, and advice and therapy. The saying is true, it takes a village, and we humorously serve as each other's trusted counsel in figuring out how not to screw up being a good dad.
The Fatherhood Podcast. Beats, rhymes, and diapers.
Yo, what it do? What it be? Yo, what it is?
What it does, cuz.
Fatherhood.
So Manny, 18, huh? Let's get on this birthday mission here.
18, yo. My daughter's turning 18 today, or has turned, I guess, at this point.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah, thanks. So it's like it's one of those milestone birthdays. Like I still haven't really fully processed it. I'm like every time I like just
let me ask you, what means more to her and to you guys? The quinceañera or an 18th birthday?
It's a good question. I don't know. To her, I don't know. I would imagine 18.
I think 18 if you're Americanized.
Yeah, because of all that it represents, like especially at this juncture, right? Like she's approaching college, she's finishing up high school. She had a huge like roller coaster of an ending to her basketball season at school. So there's a lot of emotion. This is like a big like transition point in her life. So yeah, I would say it's 18.
And let's be honest, most likely the whole 16 thing goes back to an outdated situation where women at 16 were ready to get married. Like they would marry them off. And that's where and then society now, in modern society, 18 is when kids become adults officially in society now. So that's kind of like the new thing.
The new thing. Yeah, man. I mean, like I every time I try to sit and like reflect, because it's like, so 18 so I've been in the picture since she was 4. So these 14 years that I've been involved have flown by, right? And so when you think about 18 years, like it sounds like a lot of time, but having lived it, like I haven't really been able to like grasp, like, yo, I'm trying to remember, like at 4 years old, I was just like picking her up and like throwing her in, like into like, the pillows on the bed.
Yeah, be careful how you're saying that, buddy. I was just throwing her.
No, but like it's easy to pick them up when you're playing with them and
shit,
tossing them around. And now, bro, like she's almost my height, so it's like not that kind of party. I actually picked her up the other day, like after one of her games, and like tried to carry her like a baby, and she was like, "What are you doing?"
What and I forget, I know we talked about this a long time ago. Her biological, how involved is he at this point in this juncture in her life?
Absent. Completely.
Totally.com?
Completely out of the picture.
Wow.
I don't think she's heard from him in over several years, probably.
Wow. That sucks.
Yeah.
Does she care?
She says she doesn't. She acts like she doesn't. So I believe her, but I'm always of the mind, like, at the end of the day, like in Spanish we'll say la sangre, what is it? La sangre llama or something like that. Like
Yeah.
The blood always like essentially is stronger, right? So I always look at, not like she's gonna choose him over me. I'm not worried about any of that kind of shit. It's more just like at the end of the day, that is your biological father. So there is an attachment there that you have to acknowledge because of lineage and all that shit, but presence was never there. So, how do you build a relationship? I don't think it's funny because I was talking about this with my wife. I feel like maybe the reason why he's been like trying to keep it distant was to avoid any like legal ramifications. And then once she turned 18, he's off the hook. So now I'm assuming now he might show up and like be a little bit more proactive because he didn't want to maybe piss my wife off and then think that she's going to go after him on some like court shit. Cause she never she was just like, yo, I just need custody. Like, I don't give a fuck about anything else. Like, you go live your life. You're available if you want to have a relationship with her, by all means. But I don't need money from you. Like, I'm not chasing you for dough. But sometimes some women might change their mind and shit like that. So, when I think about it, that's like the only thing that makes some sense. But at what cost is the argument there?
Because remember, child support's a scam.
Child support's a scam that a lot of people fall prey to. Yeah, man. But yeah, everything's cool. We got a nice eventful day, weekend planned for her, so it should be fun.
18, bro. Time flies. And then Manny, then you just die.
That's it.
That's the way I feel when I see these kids getting older. I'm like, this is happening in a blink of an eye. So the next blink,
I'm out of here.
There's no more blinking.
My blink stopped blinking.
AI blinking.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm gonna do to survive, not blink. I'm an AI avatar.
But do you guys like? I mean, I know we talk about it, but you can't even like really fathom 18 at this point with your kids. But like,
no, I can.
Can you? Like,
because of my goddaughters, because of seeing their growth, so like over the years and how fast. That's what I'm saying. I truly having my kids made me think a lot more about mortality, but through the lens of seeing how big my goddaughters are, how they're full. My oldest goddaughter, Kiara, she's about to be 30, bro. Like in a couple years.
Wow.
She's like 28, 27, 28. Like it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's insane. How about you, Kay? You think about empty nesting or like, when your kids going off to college?
Yeah, it's happening fast. I mean, yeah, my son's going to be 13 this year. Couple more months really. And then yeah, it's just going by so quick. And it's just you think about it and you think about how fast a year goes these days. Like when you're a kid, a year seems like forever, but
Yeah.
and then I also, I also think about like I've got a couple sisters that are younger, that are on my dad's side of the family. But like I came into the picture, I'm like 10 or more plus years older, like even actually more than that, way more than that. So they were little when I was already kind of grown, and so you see how fast things change, and they've got their own families, and it's wild, man, how quick it goes.
How do you relate to them? Because I have a half sister that's considerably younger than I, and it's I guess the way she was introduced to me is the thing that I still can't get over. Like, how was that experience for you?
It was interesting. I mean, I'd say we have a great relationship. There's really no talk of like I'm half brother or half sister or anything. It's just, I'm their brother, they're my sisters. But we just have a different relationship. I'm not involved in their day-to-day dynamics, and obviously they grew up with each other, so they're closer in that regard, and they've got their own family dynamics with my dad and his wife and everything, and just that normal dynamic that I don't have. But I was always like, the fun older brother that pops up once a year, like, hey, it's time to have some fun, that
Right.
that kind of thing. So, um, so I'd say maybe on paper it might seem like that's probably like a distant feeling relationship or whatever, but because they were so young, I think that made us all closer because it's a different feeling for them to see me, and I don't know.
How old are they?
They're in their 30s now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pretty young in comparison.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, like I remember this vividly. I was a sophomore in college. I think I was a sophomore. I might have even been a junior. Can't remember exactly, but I'm like coming out of my dorm and I get a call from my father. And he's like, "Hey, you got a sister?" I was like, hi. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Because sometimes like random shit comes out of his mouth, right? And I gotta like think about, all right, is he playing? Like, what is he? Does he even mean what he's saying? Like, I was in that mode, and then I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, I had a daughter. And I was like, a daughter? Like what? You picked one up at the supermarket? Like, how does that work? And he's like, yeah, no, yeah, she's whatever weeks or months old at the time. I can't remember what it was. And I remember feeling like my jaw dropped. I was like, yo, you didn't even like include me to let me know, like, yo, this is happening. Like you waited all this time to like then introduce it.
How old was the kid by
Yeah.
the time he told you?
Weeks old, probably.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Maybe a couple months. I don't remember. But early after but after the fact, right? After she was born. Um, so like immediately I just started feeling away. And then I was trying to check myself, like, yo, it's not the kid's fault. Whatever you're
Right.
feeling right now, it's not the kid's fault. And I don't have any ill will or any negative feelings toward her. I still resent the fact that he was just kind of like, no, like it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, you thinking about this shit the wrong way. And I still like really don't comprehend like why he felt the need. I mean, we weren't the tightest, and him and my mom just, there was nothing there. So there was a lot of beef and negativity around him. So I don't know. I
Maybe
still don't
he maybe he had a Dominican friend that was like, "Yo, you should have more kids."
Right.
Oh, sounds like somebody on
know. Yeah,
fatherhood.
have your fourth and move. There it is.
Yeah, I met my the older of the two, maybe when she was about 4 or 5, something like that.
But you knew that
Yeah,
he was having a kid before he
yeah.
had.
I don't remember. I don't remember if I knew the lead up. I
Got
knew
it.
I knew that when she was a baby, but I don't remember if it was like after the fact or before.
Got it.
I can't remember. Um, and then I do remember coming out for a visit
Hey
and
yo.
meeting and no. And then and meeting her and
Oh, because y'all weren't in the same like
yeah,
state or whatever, right?
yeah. So, but it was all good. I mean, I give it to I give it up to my dad and his wife for like fostering the relationship with us, um, to not make it feel like it's not family or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I mean it's a job that the parents need to take on and lead
because it
because
could go either way. It could be like, you got the other kids could be jealous, feeling some kind of way,
also
especially like, I could have been on some dickhead shit, like who
yeah.
knows, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but nah, it was, there's this little girl who was like, "Hey, you're my brother. Y'all want to play? Like, let's have fun." Like, okay,
Right,
you know
right.
what I mean? So yeah, no, it ended up being all good for sure.
Shit, I wish I had a secret sibling out there. Y'all making me jealous, man. I always wanted one.
Is it possible that you might have? Maybe in
Nah,
Vietnam somewhere or not?
maybe in Vietnam. The closest to it is my dad having not so like I don't think he officially got married with this lady, but he
There's
raised these stepkids, like or he
there's
raised some
this
kids.
there's this DJ in Vietnam named DJ NFE. I don't know if you're familiar.
But I never had a my dad and mine's relationship is already strained enough for me to have a relationship with whatever kids he's raising.
Right.
And the worst part about it is whenever he talks to me, he's always calling me. Like I
Their
don't talk to him
names.
often, and when I do talk to him, he says, "Yeah, one of them specifically. He's always calling me by that kid's name." Like, yo, bro, come on,
Oh my God.
I'm the real deal.
Are they kids that he had due to his current wife already existing family, or are these
Yeah,
his
no, she had
blood kids? Oh, okay.
no. She already had two kids,
Oh, okay.
and there was one that was a little bit older, still young, not even a teenager yet, but like on the older side, and then a
Got it.
real young one that he kind of like raised. That's the one that he always calls me his name. He raised that one,
Okay.
and then he loves to tell stories too about like Like whenever I see him about
Yeah, you're
raising
probably like,
them.
who gives a shit?
No, about like, oh, we did this with this kid and we took him to Disney World this many times. I'm like, yo, dude,
Damn, that's
dog,
foul.
Right.
That's foul.
we ain't do none of that. Shit. What do you stop it, bro? Like, I get you want to relate to my parenting right now, but that's not the way to
That
do
ain't
it.
it. Damn, that's
I laugh at
foul.
it. I just laugh about it now.
And you can't help but like maybe not feel jealous, but just at a minimum, like, yo, bro, read the room. Like
Yeah.
you can't you can't throw
And
this shit.
not to get into it, but the crazy part is those kids are beefing with him now. Like they're grown ass adults, and they try to reach out to me on some side shit, like social media shit. Like, yo, like we always thought you were a jerk, not that you were not trying to have a relationship with your dad, but now your dad's kind of foul. And I'm like, and I'm still loyal to my dad. I'm like, yo, like whatever. Like I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Right.
Like, ain't gonna come here now and talk to me about my dad, bro.
Right. That's interesting. You still have some loyalty there, huh?
Yeah, bro. Listen, I mean, I've said it quite a bit. Like, as an adult now, looking at my life and just looking at what he went through
Yeah.
as a kid, like, I don't fault him for the way shit, played
Yeah.
out, and his personality and his whatever, just whatever he's lacking. Like dude went to war, dude came as an orphan out of Cuba, all kinds of shit, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like he tried as best as he could. Obviously, whatever, whatever, bro. I forgive him.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I have to have a relationship with him.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
different. Like I do have one, a very distant one, where I want my kids to know their granddad, but me and him can't really have, because he's done me dirty in a lot of different ways, but I can't have a relationship with him. But I forgive him though.
Yeah.
I understand him.
At the end of the day, like they always say, like the forgiveness thing is more for you than it is for them. Because it lets you kind of have a certain sense of peace. And hopefully it makes the other person feel good too. But like it's like back to like blood is thicker than water. Like there is a lot to say there. Like, I mean, you guys didn't have like it's not like there was no relationship.
Right.
You were aware of each other. It wasn't a great
Yeah,
relationship.
it was just lacking.
Yeah.
Lacking a lot.
And it's
some of the best, like, look, like whenever he had, he needed to come through, because a lot of his way of showing love was transactional, and because he wasn't around, so he'd come around and like it'd be like, all right, let's go to the toy store. What do you want? Some type of shit. Like it was always like, okay, what do you want when I'm around? And he'd try to facilitate it. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have my first turntables, shit like that, So
yeah, that's deep. Damn, I didn't think we was gonna do a therapy session today.
yeah, there we go.
Anything else you want to get off your chassis?
No. But shout out to Dana Mason's organization that I'm on the advisory board, Rhythms of Healing.
Yeah. What is
Talk
that?
about it.
What's going on with that?
So, see, I don't want to say that I know exactly everything.
Okay. Yeah.
No. I know enough. It's a fairly new organization. She asked me to be a part of it. The basics of it, which it relates to me, is and to what the organization is it's applying hip hop and using hip hop in tackling mental health. And it's her and a legitimate, like, I don't know if he's a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I don't want to get this wrong. Probably shouldn't be saying it all wrong, but it's legitimate people involved in it that know what they're talking about, but are also of the culture. And I think it's dope to be able to use a culture that a lot of people want to always say it's negative in a lot of ways, especially even on mental health. And where mental health is kind of like, taboo, which it hasn't been. Like I feel like just like fatherhood, it's starting to get out of that. But this whole organization is about spreading the word, building community, teaching about mental health, but using like hip hop principles to tackle it, and also for more underserved communities and what they've dealt with and the traumas that come from underserved communities, minorities, and so on and so forth.
Oh,
that's good.
Dope. It's got some cool people in the advisory board too.
Dope.
nice.
Is this? So say the name again. Rhythms
Rhythms of Healing.
of
Let me make sure I'm not complete douchebag and say it all wrong.
And they are is it a new organization?
Yeah, it's very new.
Like I
Yeah,
used the word
rhythms of healing.
like I
Huh?
used the word healing and douchebag in the same sentence.
Who did me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it says let's change the future of mental health together.
Hey,
And then
dope.
and they have like these courses that like community leaders, religious leaders, like different people, just leaders in the community. You can take a course. It's called a counselor certificate program. And right now, you have to pay for it, but they're offering a 30% discount for Black History Month, and you become certified.
Certified OG. Dope.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
so what else is going on in your lives, man?
You got conferences today, E?
No, not. Oh, yeah, yeah. Parent teacher conference for my son. Uh,
This is gonna be his first one?
yeah, it's his first one.
Okay.
But the struggle we're having because I want to be in on the conference. My wife wants to be in on the conference, but the teacher specifically said no kids allowed.
Yeah,
Uh
that's normal.
yeah.
So I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, likely my wife will be the one to go in because she communicates more with the teacher.
Yeah.
So they have more of a rapport. So I'd probably have her do it instead of me, and I'll be with the kids. But I want to sit in and ask questions. But whatever. So that's what's happening. So I'll probably be on school premises, but not in the
Right.
conference.
In the car.
Yeah, or no, in the playground or something with the kids.
Oh.
Then my daughter has her parent observation week for her dance school
Oh,
where you can sit in on the class, and she does two different things there, ballet and like jazz and tap. So today we watch ballet, and then tomorrow her jazz and tap.
so
So
no more jujitsu.
no, my son, he did jujitsu yesterday.
He's still
My
into it.
daughter doesn't do it, which she would kill it if she did it. She wants to do it. She'd be dope. But yeah, he's doing it. We brought it down from 2 a week to 1 a week right now. But he started gymnastics now. He does
Oh
gymnastics with
wow.
my daughter on Mondays. He does like a 2 hour course, and it's helping him in his jiu-jitsu already. And
Is
so
he
yeah,
is he is he liking the jujitsu?
yeah. It's one
Yeah.
on one. I don't
Okay.
know if he'll
Okay.
like
Yeah.
it once it's a class.
Right.
He's gotten accustomed to the teacher, which it's crazy, man. Like such a small world, especially in Miami, especially in Kendall. So the teacher was recommended by my barber. Yes, I have a barber. He cuts my beard. Um,
I have one.
and I remember, I loosely remember the duty used to be the teacher, the jujitsu teacher was a barber, also working, I think, for my boy Hiram. I don't know if you ever met Hiram, Kay.
Hmm.
But then I was over there one day when taking my son, and he's like, and I had given him some crazy hood stuff, and the guy was like, I have like an old "Who's Crazy" sticker of yours. I'm like, oh, cool, okay. He's like, yeah, I used to date this girl, Angie Garcia.
Oh
He
shit.
he was dating Garcia's ex-wife.
Oh,
You know, after they
yeah.
divorced and all
Yeah.
that. But I was like, what a small world.
Ah,
That had nothing to do with fatherhood, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
jujitsu, bro.
That's all good.
Took you there.
Yeah. Back to jujitsu.
Yo, is basketball season done over there, Kay? For your
Yeah.
son?
Yep.
I was about to say, isn't it the same everywhere?
How did it go for him?
It was good. Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was a good experience. Different. It's different being on the on a school team versus like the Y team and some of the I don't know what you call them.
Like the lower level?
No, not even lower level, but just like um, I guess it's a different bonding experience because you're
Oh yeah.
with kids at school that you see all the time, and you might not talk to them all the time, whatever. And now you're on a team versus when you're on some of like the Y or AAU or whatever the
Oh,
teams, and it's like you only see them there, and I don't know. I think the level of like feeling like you're a team sometimes on all those teams isn't quite there. Is where you get a little more connected from
camaraderie.
yeah from the school side of things. So
All right. So he's still into it, and he feels like he did a good job this season.
yeah. I mean, I know he wants to do better, and tired of hearing me run my mouth about it. But the fact that he made the team was a good boost for him. He didn't get as much playing time as he wanted, but that is a good lesson for him, and just in terms of it just really boils down to confidence, and that's
Yeah.
it's an interesting awkward age right now because some kids have it already, you know, even if they don't have the skills, they've got the confidence to just go for it. And then others don't. Others are trying to figure it out. My son is in kind of he's in the mid stage of it where there's moments of greatness of like, oh, he's in the zone, he's feeling it, he's not afraid to move the ball, just like he's doing his thing, and then there's other times where it's like I can tell you're doubting yourself on the court, and you're not making an impact, and so there's been some tough moments after the fact with some of the games of just like him feeling bad, like, man, I should have done better. How come and so those kind of coaching through of like, well, how do you build yourself up? How do you tap into that? I wish I had the switch because I know it's in there, and I know he's got skills and I know he can do his thing. I just want him to be able to consistently feel that way and consistently tell himself that like he's the shit, he knows what he's doing. It's okay to mess up, but you still just gotta go with it, play with heart, go hard. But we can
That's
only,
easier said than done.
yeah. We can only
And
do
the
that for
hormones on top of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That he's getting into
Yeah.
now, like that's gonna throw him all over the place.
So all I can do is try to like be truthful with him, but at this and also try to give him the praise that we know. Like I don't want to lie to him, like, oh, that was the greatest game ever, that kind of thing. And
Earn praise, but
Yeah.
not like belittling or like shutting him down.
yeah, but also try to figure out like just let him know, like, dude, we know you're the shit. You got to know you're the shit.
Yeah.
And eventually you will.
I talk to a lot of like former high level players and parents that come from same environments that I came from, and we kind of narrow it down to the environment being fuck you, fuck you.
When you said the thing, I was like, what, Fantasy Fest?
You see? So we look at like what's the common denominator with like people that have like the dog in them, right? As far as athletes go, and like those that don't, right? Or have uber confidence and talent versus no confidence and some talent. And the environment feels like it plays a consistent role for a lot of these kids where like, the only thing they got is basketball. And so to get out of whatever situation they have, and that makes them go harder. I don't necessarily agree that that's the only ingredient, because you got kids that come out of the burbs that are pretty solid and they go pro and, all that stuff. But it's interesting how when we just go down, like when we point at certain players and we look at their background, many of them come from single parent homes. Many of them are below the poverty line. And that is a concentration of the people that are in the NBA right now. So it's, I hate to just be lazy about it and be like, that's what's missing for a lot of these kids. But there's, like you said, there is a switch at some point that we should be able to flip. It's just a matter of like figuring out the right formula. But confidence,
some folks never flip it. I mean, plenty of adults who are not confident in what they're doing. So
sure.
Or you just need to always find find those triggers and those things that help you motivate yourself.
Yeah.
Because you keep going up and down, so you got to keep going back to certain things. You ever? This is gonna sound funny, but you ever consider something like an Anthony Robbins type of thing course for him to check out?
I think it would. I think it'd be that something like that would be dope.
Like my mom gave me tapes of that when
Yeah.
I was a kid, and at first I was like, "Oh God, like what is this?" And then I started checking them out. And I'm not gonna say that it made the whole world of difference, but
subconsciously it drops something in your
dropped,
head.
yeah, man. And I've always been able to go back to different things like that when I feel like I'm in a rut. because I'm like, maybe I need that. I need something to just feed my mind. You know, it's like brain food.
No, that's real. I want to do drop more of that in his head because especially this age where everything is still sponge like. Because I think about like some of the downtime that he has sometimes, and if he's just watching stupid shit, like
Yeah.
if I if he remembers that, no problem, right?
Right. You
So
can recall that at any
yeah,
time.
yeah. So if he's
That's
got
actually it's a
some other good nuggets in there that
that's a great
it'll
that's a
yeah.
great piece of advice because there is a lot there. Like there's a lot of parents that take their kids to sports psychiatrists now, like at 10, 11 years old, to try to help pull out whatever that blocker is. But I think that could be a really cool, like easier solution to implement. Let me ask you guys this because I encountered something this week and I'm curious. Like I still haven't really made a decision myself, but I'm curious how you guys would think about it. So, I mean, we're talking about basketball, but let's just broaden it to just athletics in general, right? If one of your kids had the opportunity to compete at a high level, right, consistently, but it required them to move thousands of miles away from you, and they were
Thousands?
out, let's say 2,000 miles away. So yeah, a couple thousand. Um, or shit. I mean, even let's call it hours, right? Let's say they had to move like 8 hours from you. Um, and again, let's say they're high school aged, like freshman, sophomore age. Would you, knowing that this step could lead them to competing at a high level, say collegiately, would you, and they wanted to do this, by the way,
Okay.
would you be supportive?
Hmm.
That's rough, man.
I don't think I have an answer for that right now.
Yeah, I've been struggling with it myself.
But I think the oh, I mean, obviously you have to find there's more information you need
Yeah, there's a ton
of
more,
where
but
they're
let's just,
going, how,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know, what's all that about. But
yeah.
I think the one thing that sways me, like immediately I would be like, no, I'm not supportive. But the first thing I thought of is, do they want to go, or is it you as a parent pushing them to go because you know it's going to be good for them?
Yeah.
But if they really want to go,
That's what they
and
want.
that's the part that's like, damn, man, like this is what they really want, you know, and you know that this is going to be good for them. So it's like that's the conundrum there, man. Like I would lean towards kind of like yeah, but hesitantly
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you then you lose that precious time with them.
Yeah.
That's another thing too, is losing that
That
time.
connection.
Yeah, and then being a part of that final step in. I mean, there's no, you keep raising your kids even when they're young adults, but those are those formative years
Yeah.
that you know you're
Critical
the
time.
probably the most important in their lives. Um,
Yeah,
but you could
it's a
still be
critical
that
time.
in today's age. That's the thing. In today's age, you can be FaceTiming every day. You could Zoom call. You could do all kinds of stuff. You can fly there easier or whatever. So I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to consider there, but it seems
Yeah.
like I'd probably lean towards a yeah and a hesitantly try it
Yeah.
out at least.
I bring it up because so I met this kid, 6'9" kid from Colombia. And he left Colombia to pursue basketball. First went to Spain, played there for a little while, wasn't feeling it. He was fresh out of 8th grade when he went over there, it sounds like. Then he recently came to the US, did all his paperwork and stuff before shit got crazy
Yeah, you
over
got to
here.
say that clearly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't want ice
Yeah.
at his crib.
Nah. Um and is now doing it here in the States. And his whole family he got nobody here. He got a guardian that was willing to like look out and take him in. Somebody that I don't know his family knows very well. So that's another challenge there. But the guy seems to be credible and fine, whatever. But still, as a parent, like that
Yeah.
shit's risky. And he's out here figuring it out. Doesn't speak English, and is integrated into a high school setting that he's unfamiliar with, right?
Mm.
And the kid, luckily, some of the kids are trying to help him out that also speak Spanish or whatnot. But and he presents African American, right? So imagine you're walking the streets of one of the major cities here, and people are trying to talk to you for whatever. You're a 6'9" dude. Like a lot of people are gonna be like, "Yo, what team you play for?" Like
Right.
that's the first thing out of a lot of people's mouths, and he's not gonna really be able to understand what you're saying. So that right there is a challenge. Now you compound everything else. It's like, yo, he's away from his family. This is all new. Like experiencing the cold is like not a thing he's really accustomed to. Like all these different things, and at his age. So that's what triggered that thought for me. I'm like, but he said he's like, yo, this is what I want. Like I want to play at a high level, and I know if I attach myself to the game here in the US and I do well, I have my chances are a lot greater.
You know, some folks are just so zero, like they've found their calling, right, and get so zero
Yeah.
focused in that the thought of like parents and family isn't as, I mean, it's important, but it's not like the driving force for them. So
Well,
it's
no,
almost, you know what I mean? It's just
but
like,
the way the parent supports even a hard
yeah,
move like that, that's gonna be hard on the parents, is that in itself is like
It's a
a
motivator.
sacrifice, and
yeah.
yeah, it motivates for everybody around because he's sacrificing leaving his family, and the family sacrificing letting him leave, and then you got to factor in here coming from some of these other
Where he's coming
countries,
from.
like you don't, the scarcity of these opportunities is like everybody knows, like this is the best for this
You
person.
got to do this. Yeah. Yeah. And what it represents down the road, right? Let's say he doesn't even go pro, but he gets a
Right.
college tuition
Yeah.
covered, and he graduates and gets into a career. Whatever he likely gets into is going to trump whatever he was
Yeah.
possibly going to be able to do down, in Colombia. So it helps the family at the end of the day too. So yeah, it's tough, man. But I give that kid a lot of props, bro. Cause like, yo, you could see like you could see the innocence of his age, but you can also see the determination in his face and his grind and the way he's trying to, move.
Well, what you would hope is that none of these like influences at this age creep
Yeah.
in because they see this big ass dude like oh he's, Colombian dude, like the stereotype of all these stereotypes and all these things that, and these influences come in like the streets basically.
Yeah.
You don't want the streets to call them.
and,
And
and the basketball community as well, because there's a lot of pariahs inside of basketball that like they see a kid like that, like, oh, that's my meal ticket. Let me
right.
attach my, and then
Hmm.
you got all these people that want to become the handler, and there's all these weird things that can go down that really play to the detriment of the kid at the end of the day.
But how is it that he's traveling around without parental guidance at all? Like how is it
I mean, he's got the guardian who's his caretaker, right?
that
So
travels with him?
yeah, that does everything with him.
But you said the parents don't really know him?
I don't know how well they know him. I don't believe they know him
So
that well.
from
But
what point did he start traveling with him?
a couple years ago, I think.
From Colombia?
Yeah.
So he's already
The
one
guy,
of those
the
people
guy,
that
the
are
guy
like,
was the guy had been in Colombia for a period of time, so there was some relationship, but not like he was a relative
but
or
he went to
anything.
Spain with him as well.
I'm not sure. I think he might have been involved in that move
Yeah,
though.
I'm just wondering if that's one of those pariahs that you're talking about.
I mean, I don't know
Could
the
be.
guy, but it seems like he's above board and like doing the right thing from everything I've heard. But there are people that are
Yeah.
just like trying to get a trying to get something out of it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that seems a little odd to me. Like, what does
It's
that guy do for a living here?
He's in basketball something or other training, and he's probably a scout for somebody. I don't know. He's
Keep
attached
that
to the
third
game
eye
somehow.
open, yo.
Yeah. So anyhow, like it's just one of those things you think about that you don't really think about, right? Until you're like
All right.
faced with it, and you're like, damn, if I was in those shoes, how would I move? But like to your point, like he keeps in touch with his family through FaceTime and that kind of thing. So and his parents call him every single day, multiple
Yeah.
times a day.
Hell
So
yeah.
there is that connection,
Yeah.
but it's not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not mom's hot arepas every day that
Right.
you can remember, have.
Right. Right. Actually, the food is something he said he missed a lot. Cause he's
I
like,
bet.
yo, like I never had Burger King. I was like, bro, don't get caught
Don't
up.
Yeah.
start.
Don't start
Don't
with
start.
that. Jeez.
I was like, there's a reason every time you look around, everybody around you is
The
pretty
king
obese.
don't eat Burger
Yeah.
King.
All right, guys.
All right,
I gotta
fellas.
jump.
All right, bro.
Thanks for taking this early recording time for me.
Out, dog. All right, y'all be good, man.
All right,
And we'll
peace
catch
in the
y'all
hood.
next week.
My
Later.
avatar.